So I remember very early in my career, before I was making any money, a mentor of mine was giving me advice on how to make it. And he was like, young Will, like money is not your problem. And he was, saying, he was just trying to say, like, the money looks for value. It looks to places that it can grow and these sorts of things. And he wasn't saying I wasn't becoming that person. He was just trying to get me the idea that, how we often hear, man, if I just had X amount of dollars, I can finally go do the thing. And he was saying that's a bad way of thinking. What do you say to that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll go even further. Money's a coward. Money's not courageous. Money tries to find the safest place it can find for the highest return over the longest period of time. And if you look safe and you can provide a good return, then money's interested. If you look like you're a risk, if you look like you're a shooting star, then money's gonna be very expensive and is gonna have a lot of extraction oriented and maybe even look repressive, because it wants what you want. It wants to get in and wants to get out and wants the highest level of protection. And what we have to understand is the dynamics of that relationship. But the larger issue that I think your mentor was trying to say to you was that really the real capital is in you, that you're the product. It's not about money. That capital comes from the Latin root word capitas, knowledge in the head, knowledge in the head. And that credit comes from the Latin root word credito, credibility. And banking and finance is a faith business, very spiritual. It requires a faith and confidence of people to partake in it. It really has very little to do with money. Money is nothing more than an exchange of value. I mean, if I wanted to write a check, I could take the back of your shirt, write a routing number, and write the banking details of your bank account, or you could, and you could say to pay to the order of John Hope Bryant and sign it. And technically I could take your shirt off your back to the bank, and the bank would scratch their head. They would go talk to their attorney, but within 30 days, they'd have to figure out how to cash your shirt, or try to convince me or convince you to come with a more traditional version of a transfer of value. We get over obsessed about getting that bag, getting that money, getting that dollar, getting paid. All this is it's called making a living for a reason. All money is designed to help you make a living today versus making a life. You build wealth in your sleep. Education, relationship capital, stocks, bonds, businesses, brand. You've got a brand now. We have a relationship. You didn't meet me on the the yellow pages or the Google search. You didn't fill out a form. We met. I vibed you. I thought you were a good dude, and I said yes. Now, somebody else who calls my speaking agent, they get quoted, $50,000 for a 45-minute speech, because I don't know them. It's a commercial transaction, and I'm even losing money when I do that if I have to travel to go do it, but I might have some strategic reasons to do it. I'm doing this for free because, and all I was told today was, hey, John, you got a podcast with Will. And I thought for a minute, Will, oh my God. Yeah. I love that dude. Yeah. That's relationship capital. That's what makes the world go around. And if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. So you got to watch who you hang around. You got to watch your mindset, and we got to learn. I was just thinking this morning, Will, we got to become bilingual. Black people have to become bilingual.
Yeah.
Civil rights is cool, but we also need civil rights. Being able to defend yourself in the streets is cool, but I want you to win in the suites. I want you to understand what red rooms are, which are defending yourself against racism and bias and police brutality and all that stuff. But I want you to be in more and more green rooms where internships and apprenticeships and jobs and access to capital and opportunity is. Because what really happens is you don't have to ask for money. You build the right kind of rapport and reputation, and people will say, "What can I do with you, man? What this is?"
What you're saying right now, I could not believe it. So I used to have, again, more mentors who would talk about the bank went to them and said, "What else can we do for you?" And I could not believe that that's how the bank worked until it happened to me. And my banker said, "We got these things. What else do you need?" And I'm like, "You're asking me?" I didn't come from that where they asked you what can they do for you. You always went to the bank, with your hat in your hand, shame, head down, all these things, hoping they wouldn't turn you away.
A bank will lend you money when you can prove you don't need it.
Mm.
And it's a bit of a fake game. Like by the way, I'm going one step further. A lot of our people will say, this is why I really want everybody to read this book, Financial Literacy for All, which is now number one in the world on economics and business management, because I'm trying to explain something that we've taken very emotional, which is money, and or worse, we've rejected it. All people say, "Well, I hate debt. We should not want to be indebted." What are you talking about? There's not a billionaire alive who didn't do it on the back of good debt.
Yeah.
There's not a government that's leading the world, including ours, that didn't do it on the back of good debt. There's good debt and bad debt. And what you want, and bad debt is when you're financing something that depreciates.
Yeah.
Jewelry, clothes, but good debt is when you finance something that could appreciate, which a home, small business, you,
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and neutral debt is something that can go both ways. An automobile, if it's getting you to a job, if it's allowing you to keep your family safe, that's good debt. If you're bought something you can't afford, money you don't have to impress people you don't know about, stuff that don't really matter, well, that's bad debt. And so coming back to this concept of the bank coming to you this morning, a coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. This morning, I was talking to a banker, international bank, and they had held they had a deposit of mine that they held for longer than they should have on a loan I took out 3 years ago. And I had sent them a note saying, by the way, I want my money I've done everything you asked me to do. I want my money back. And on top of that, do you guys want a line of credit from me in this country that I'm doing business with? Because I may find some opportunities I'm interested in. If you don't want it, cool. But if you do, I'd love to talk about that business. It was a simple email. Anyway, this lady calls me. She's my relationship manager. And she's talking to me like she talked to, I think, anybody else for a minute. And so she's telling me, well, we kept your 100,000 for, I think it was 2 years. I said, no, it's supposed to be 1 year. And yes, but maybe we could use it as a security for this new line of credit. I think I've already said the number. So I think $100,000, and it was a line of credit for, so much 500 to $1 million, which I wasn't going to use, by the way. But she wanted to use it for this new line of credit. And she said, well, maybe we need to do an appraisal. And I let her finish talking. And I said, I don't think I'm interested. I said, thank you very much. I mean, I'm very appreciative. But you guys have wasted my time for a year. You asked me to do X, Y, and Z. I did all of that. And then I waited another year to let you keep my money on tap, which was a year more than. And if I had reverses, if I didn't give you collateral for a year, you'd be filing all kind of notices of default to me and calling me all kinds of names. But I let you guys make that mistake, and no one's apologized to me. No problem. But now you want to transfer my money to another transaction that I just mentioned. And then you want me to go through all these hoops and do appraisals for a property that you just appraised 2 years ago. It's done nothing but gone up in value. It's easy to find, blah, blah. I've actually doubled it. This property has doubled in value for a small transaction. I said, you know what? I'm good. I said, by the way, I just finished a $100 million refinance on a portfolio of one of my companies that was non-recourse debt, meaning no personal guarantee, no nothing, with one of the biggest banks in the world. And she's like, you're right. We have looked at your records. We looked at your file. You actually do qualify in every way. We're so sorry. Don't worry about the $100,000. We'll send that back to you, and we'll have a decision with you by Monday on the new request. Is that okay? Sure. There you go, right there. A bank will lend you money when you can prove you don't need it, or it's perceived that you don't need it. I don't need this money. I mean, it'd be nice to have it. It allows me, I'd rather use OPM, other people's money, to facilitate things I want to do under the right conditions, but it has to be structured properly. It has to be under the right terms and conditions. Fair exchange is no robbery. A great negotiation wheel is when both people leave the table slightly annoyed.
Wow.
Because that means that neither one got everything they wanted, but you also didn't feel like you got screwed. You leave the table slightly annoyed.
Yeah.
It was probably a good deal. And for your listeners, I want them to hear this. And again, I go over all this in Financial Literacy for All and also my own podcast, Money and Wealth, and I talk about the this my pulpit of finance. You have a table, and on the one side of the table is a capitalist, and they have a product, and they want to extract money from you, and on the other side of the table is you, and you want that product, and you don't want to give them any money, and their job. People, listen to this now. Don't get emotional. Whenever you make an emotional decision, it's a bad one. Mm-hmm. The capitalist's job is to extract as much money as they can from you while giving you the least amount of value. And your job is to extract the most amount of value while delivering the least amount of cash. And that dynamic tension is natural negotiation. Now, somebody says, well, how does that apply to capitalism? Where you're in a little village. You don't think you're a capitalist? Go to a little village in Africa. Go to a little village in Latin America. Think about when you're last in Jamaica or wherever, and you trying to buy a little chotsky or something from and how much is this? Well, it's $2. Well, how about $1.50? No, $1.90. Well, how about $1.60? Well, I'll take a $1.75. I think it's gonna be worse. That's a negotiation. And you're in the midst of a capitalist transaction. You go to the store, you go to CVS today, where the price has been predetermined because they've done market research. Yeah. And you want to buy a comb, and the comb is $9. And they pretty much done the research, approved that this comb you pay $9 for it, and you pick it up, and you go to the register, and without any complaints at all, you buy it. Why? Because you know that solving the naps out of your hair and the kinks in my hair are worth at least $20, maybe $100. Maybe it's invaluable to you at that moment. You want to solve, so it's at least worth $9. There you go, right there. We do that all day, every day, and don't think about it. We're all engaged in this system of free enterprise and capitalism, but we don't understand it, and it's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us, but we think we know. Some brothers like, I don't want to buy a house. If I buy a house, the bank owns the house. I don't. No, if you don't pay, the bank will own your house. But by the way, if I give you a loan and you don't pay, I'm going to own your house. Right? So what you need to do is pay, and then you get the benefit of appreciation, the value above the debt. Yeah. And you get the benefit, that's called equity, and you get the benefit of depreciation, which is a tax strategy. And you get to write off 20 years of a 30-year mortgage payments against your income on your tax bill.
And you get to live in it.
And you get to live in it. There you go. Now you just become, black capitalists matter. You just became a capitalist.
So my financial advisor said this quote to me to change my life a couple of years ago. And I was talking about how much money I had in the bank. And she was like, wealth is not in the bank balance. And it blew my mind because I'd always imagined I just wanted to get as much money in the bank as possible. And she was like, wealthy people, other people she worked with, they have some money in there, but that's not where their wealth is. Can you speak on that? If you agree or disagree, I want you to speak on, just explain.
Well, of course. I mean, you're, again, cash versus wealth creation, right? So you want to have enough cash to live and meet your obligations and whatever. But you don't really want to have a lot of cash sitting around. This is very much like similar to the analogy that, wealthy people want to save time and poor people want to save money, right? We spend all this time, messing around trying to make some money or save some money or not pay that rent, that light bill, even though there's a rent notice on it, and trying to wait to the last minute. You got to pay the light bill, whether it's Tuesday or Thursday, you're going to have to pay the light bill, right? So, but you're wasting time on this activity. I'd rather you waste a little bit of my money, but waste a minute of my time. I could give me more time, I'll make more money. So you build wealth in your sleep. You want to take that money and put it to work compounding, right? Home ownership, we just talked about that. Starting a business, putting that money to work, starting a business. The easiest example, the stock market. There are three things that have never gone down in American history. American GDP, gross domestic product, the income of this country, the stock market, and real estate values. Now, somebody watching this will say, I got him. He's wrong. Doesn't he even know there was a real estate recession There was a recession in 2008. Yeah, I know that. I know this. I know that real estate went up. It dipped. It's called a recession, and then it corrected above the line.
Mm.
And real estate I bought for $88,000 is now worth $300,000. The home the townhouse I bought for $220,000 in LA, with a little bit of money of my money and a lot of bit of the bank's money. So here you go, 20% cash down from me, 80% financed by the bank, good debt, a little bit of my money from the bank account into the transaction, compounded. And then when the real estate recession happened, the value went down to 180. All my friends said, sell, John, sell, sell, sell. That's why they broke, right? I'm like, why would I sell? I got to live someplace. No, I think I'll just hold on. I moved to Atlanta, rented that place out to a police officer who didn't pay his bill on time, I might add. But he finally paid. And I forgot about it, Will. 8 years later, it was 2016. I go to check on the property, call my broker out there, brother. Hey, man, I'm trying to sell this property. I think I'm buying something in Atlanta. What can I get for it? Now, mind you, I bought it for $2 something. Sold it when I last checked on it, it was $100 and something of value. So I was underwater. He said, well, I think you can get it you can get $750. I said, you don't mean $750, do you?
Yeah.
What did LA just fall apart? No, $750,000. I almost passed out. It had literally tripled in value from more than triple the value of what I paid for it. That's what wealthy people do. Wealthy people use money to make more money, or use money to build wealth. So real estate has never gone down. The stock market. So go buy. Listen to this. I'm not telling you what to buy. Whatever you're wearing, whatever you use, wherever you go, if that's a publicly traded company, go buy an index or a stock with those in it, a basket in it. And you don't have a lot of money, do fractional shares.
Yeah.
But if you're part of the blue chip stock index, those are one of the best performing companies in America, and they are global companies. And if you lose, a billionaire is losing, by the way. So it's a good bet. And buy and don't sell. Just forget about it and watch it compound over time. If you have a 20-year window on your investment horizon, and when you want to retire or whatever, you're going to have zero losses. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, but over 20 years, it's just going to do this, right? On balance. And if you like a company, Walmart, Target, if you like a company, there's a good chance other people like it too. And by the way, once you own one stock, I understand now I'm over answering your question, by the way, Will. Once you own one stock, you get a right to get all the financials.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody bought one pencil in your house, and now they can go through every room and every drawer in your house. That's what when you have one stock of Target or Walmart or Delta Airlines, whatever, you now can go through every inch and cranny of that company. You have a right to all their financials. You are an owner. Isn't that powerful? That's sexy.
Yeah. So I have this friend she's an attorney, black girl, and she went to Howard, and she got her law degree from Howard. And I remember her telling me this story of, she was in, school court, their mock courtroom, and she was, she learned, how you be fiery in the law room, and you slam your fist on the desk, and her professor, who was a black man, said, we can't do that. They can do that. You can't, especially as a black woman. You cannot do that in the courtroom. You're seen differently. Yes. And my question is this: are there nuances about money? Because we say all money is green. People want to make money. They don't care if you're black, white, green. They care about green. So my question is: are there nuances about money that apply to black people and finding success in it that may not apply to our counterparts?
I think there's nuances in money, period. I could have financed my companies with Pookie in them. I could have got somebody from my community who has an interesting pedigree on business that nobody sort of know the details from him. He doesn't have a website. And he could have, and your audience will figure the rest of this out. And I could have got some cash from Homeboy to start my business or grow my business. But I couldn't pass an audit. I couldn't get audited financials. The bank's going to look at me crazy. And I can't then position myself for the next level of growth on Wall Street. I can't go from Main Street to Wall Street because my partners are funky.
Yeah.
So I've always had a philosophy that I want my partners to be bigger, and my financial partners are also my partners. I want my partners to be bigger and more credible than I am. I didn't say anything about money. Bigger and more credible than I am. Oprah Winfrey gave me an award, the Use Your Life Award. When her investigators came around, after she said she wanted to give me the award, investigators came around and said, we're going to make you feel a little uncomfortable. We're apologizing in advance. We've already gone through all your childhood. That's why we're
Yeah.
having lunch with you.
Yeah.
And but Oprah has a rule. It's called the Oprah rule. She doesn't put her arm around anybody who doesn't have as much to lose reputationally as she does.
Yeah. That's good.
Man, that's my rule. So all my partners are bigger than me, more credible than me.
That's
And
good.
I build my companies, I build my operations with an institutional pedigree. So I make sure that I don't just have an accountant. I have an accountant and audit firm who is one of the big 6 or big 10 or big 20 firms with a nice reputation and a pedigree. My clients, my partners also, my kind of companies I'm trying to do business with, use that company or a company like that. It's somebody you recognize.
Yeah.
I make sure that my bank is somebody who has a recognized pedigree. It doesn't mean I don't put money in a black bank, which I do. Doesn't mean that I don't help the least of these God's children. But my lead institution is going to be somebody who says something about me, not me saying something about them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And my investors are going to have something more than money going on for them, reputation, and tech. So when somebody says, who's your partners, it means something. So yes, you've got to realize that you cannot curse out people in that boardroom. Um, if you're white, they'll just say you're upset. If you're white, they say, if you're black, they say you're crazy. I was walking through the lobby of a hotel with my wife in last weekend, and there was a white kid laying on the couch in the lobby of the hotel, had his shoes on, feet up, whole body on the couch with his head on his mama, and he's chilling. Nobody said a word to him.
Yeah.
I said, baby, if that was a black kid,
You already know.
somebody would have come along and said, young man, you need to take your feet off that couch.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
You got to be twice as smart, twice as intelligent, twice as well dressed, get up twice as early, stay up twice as late, be twice as clean. But it's made me better. Haters have made me better. I don't get mad at stuff like this. I use it as fuel, right?
Yeah.
I take no for vitamins, right?
Yeah.
A success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Over to round it through it, I'm going to get to it. So as a result of that, I'm built to last. I'm as a result of me making sure that I'm overclocked, over prepared, over tight, and never emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I can walk in any room and clean their clocks because they're lazy. They've taken the easy route. They haven't had to have the tests that I've had. Talk without being offensive, listen without being defensive, and always leave even your adversary with their dignity. Because if you don't, they'll spend the rest of their life trying to make you miserable. It becomes personal. And they don't want you in the room half the time anyway. So they're trying to find some excuse to neutralize you and get you off the stage. You can say you don't like John Bryant. You're not going to say he doesn't qualify.
That's good. That's good. I want to talk about why so many of our businesses have so few employees. And I want to position it this way is, I think about how do we get more of us to consider scale? Like there's no, as far as I know, no black Boricks. Like we are, I think there was a study done by the SBA. It was back in 2012, I believe was the last time they did it. And it said 80% of our businesses are in the bottom 20% of categories for sales revenue. So we over-index on barbershops, lawn care companies, dry cleaners, et cetera. And so I wonder, like, what does it take to get that black barber to say, instead of starting a shop on the corner, I'm going to start 30 of these shops and do it across the country. Like, what does it take to get us to think that way?
The Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. All right. So we need to go from civil rights in the streets to civil rights in the business suites. Look, this makes perfect sense why we are where we are, Will. Why do kids want to be rap stars, athletes, and drug dealers from our neighborhood?
That's what they see.
They're not dumb and they're not stupid. They're brilliant. They're modeling what they see.
Yeah.
They don't, no one's talked to them about why education matters to them K through 12. They're like, why do I go do all this when I can just go sell some drugs? Well, selling drugs is prison, probation, parole, and death, but that's a different conversation. They're seeing immediate gratification. They're seeing a connection to their aspirations, but no one's taking education and plugging it into a socket called aspiration and saying, if you do this, you can become an engineer. If you do this, you can go into AI. If you do this, you can become a gamer. If you do this, you can become a coder. If you do this, you can become a real estate a real estate magnate. We have a farm club for professional sports. There used to be a farm club for the arts, used to be art class, all that stuff, but there's still an informal farm club for that, but certainly professional sports from middle school. But there's no farm club for business and the things that's driving the economy. And so you look at the role models, Jay-Z or whoever people admire. They have a staff of 30 people. Yeah. The biggest celebrities that you want to admire, they have a staff of 5 people, 4 people, 10 people, maybe 30 people that's running their brand. Yeah. You can't scale the brand. It's just only one Jay-Z. Maybe I'm not picking on Jay-Z. Yeah. There's only one T.I. or Killer Mike who I know. And you can't, and there's only so many employees that are able to sit in their balance sheet, given that the product is an individual, right? So the things that we tried to get 40 million people into a economic model designed for 3,000 people, yeah, right? And even those jobs last 3 to 5 years on average. Celebrity, 3 to 5 years. A ball player, 3 to 5 years. Drug dealer, probably less than that, right? So, and look at Jews, just the opposite. 7.5 million Jews, but they're pursuing 40 million occupations. And they've understand you need to write the check, not just cash it, be the owner. That's right. So when you discriminate against me, you discriminate against the guy who owns the building that you're actually talking crap in, that's right? That's right. That's right. So what we need is a long answer to your question. What we need is a business plan. What we need is a business plan, and we need role models who start with what you just said. Why do I have too much month at the end of my money? Mm-hmm. Why, no matter how hard I work, I'm broke? Because you've got one operation and you're trying to make money and not trying to build wealth. You build wealth in your sleep. Compounding can mean additional locations. That's so maybe right. I need to model success. Maybe I need 20 locations. Maybe I need 10. I can't. And by the way, what's the strategy? It's going to blow your viewers' mind listeners' mind when I say this. Why do I want to have 3 locations, 10, 20? To sell it.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
To sell it. Oh, but John, then it's not a black business. No, it's a successful one. It's called an exit strategy, right? Right. So 96% of black businesses don't have an employee because we're emotional about it, because there's self-employment projects, because we have to understand that this is about growing something you can sell, that you can merge, it's not a black business, it's a green one. You don't see Jewish people and white people say white-owned business. You don't see Jewish people, Latino people, Latino-owned business, big sign in the wall. Asian-owned business, right? Yeah. It's only black people. Black-owned business. I know it's black. I see you, right? You want every person with a dollar bill, a legit one, to be your customer, right? And so we got to take the emotion out of it. We need different kind of role models. Look, why am I doing what I'm doing? To create plumbing. There is no. One of the videos has got 4 million, 5 million views that I did. Somebody just put up this little clip I did when I was speaking at the Milken conference where I said, I want to be the Federal Reserve of the hood.
Yeah.
And to me, it was common sense. I wasn't trying to get attention. I just thought it was common sense. I want to become the Federal Reserve of the hood. I want to create an economic infrastructure, a financial access point nationwide where we can come in, operationalize our untapped human potential at scale, get our credit score up 30 to 50 to 100 points, get our debt. Black people have the lowest credit score on average in the nation. The average credit score for black people is less than 620. Not poor people.
Wow.
All of us. And so when we get up in the morning, Will, and we think that the bank is discriminating against us, and they might be. There might be a racist person at the bank who don't like you, who discriminate against you. That might be the case. But if your credit score is 550, they don't have to work very hard at it.
Yeah.
The answer is just no, right? You're just a bad credit risk, right? You don't pay your bills.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
get the credit score up 50 to 100 points. So you're in the high sixes. God forbid you get to 7. That's the nirvana, 700.
Yeah.
Get your debt down $3,800 for somebody making $48,000. These are our Hope Inside models at Hope Inside locations at Operation Hope, 300 of those across the country. We get your savings up $2,000 on average. And when we do that, we make you bank qualified.
Yeah.
So the bank just wants to say yes. And if you want to test my theory, go to the computer at midnight when the bank's not even open and you have a 720 credit score and type in an application for a credit card or a mortgage or a car note and watch that approval.
You'll get it quick.
We got to change the game, change the business plan, change our minds, change our model, become bilingual, learn financial literacy for all. It's the new civil rights issue of this generation. We have got to be as obsessed with this as we were the right to vote.
Last question for you, I'll let you go. And, you know, a lot of folks in our community, I've heard lament capitalism and for a variety of reasons. And I want you to make a case on this and why capitalism has been largely what created wealth in this country. And I'll let you, I don't want to speak on you. I'll let you speak on it.
Man, we could do an hour just on this.
Yeah.
This is a ridiculous conversation.
Yeah.
The conversation they're having.
Yeah.
I
agree. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's ridiculous. Slavery was about capitalism. Nobody went halfway around the world to bring your ass over here because they didn't like you. Why did they go to Africa? Because we were agricultural geniuses. That's why. Because we could take dead land, dead soil, and bring it back to life. Because we did that in Africa. Mm. And we could work from can't see in the morning to can't see at night, and it didn't bother us under the sun. We were agricultural geniuses of the land. What was the economy in the 17 and 1800s? Agricultural economy. What were the crops? Cotton, tobacco, et cetera, was needed the soil that was situated in the Caribbean, but more so in the southern U.S. states. The first indentured servants brought over here to work that land were white and black. They got along with each other. And when in the early 1600s, they got along with each other, didn't like what the overseer was doing on what wasn't called a plantation then. These were trading companies back then. When they didn't like, they ran away with each other, black and white. Mm. And when they were caught, the overseer's henchmen said, "Hey, boss, we got a problem. They're getting along. And we can have we can have a race riot, but we cannot have a class riot because we're the class. So we got to work this out." And boss said, "Well, tell the white guys they're white like us."
Yeah.
And then put them in charge of the black people and tell them if they work really hard, they can buy one of them. And the poor whites didn't do any critical thinking to go, oh, I'm white like you. They should have said, well, next question, do I have land like you? Yeah. Do I have titles like you? Do I own businesses like you? Do I own? No, they didn't ask. They just said, oh, I'm white like you. Okay, boss. And that lie has survived 400 years, where poor whites and poor blacks are at each other's throats, while the wealthy people just sort of fade in the background and go on about their business. Now, that was bad capitalism at scale. Horrible, disgusting capitalism. I can do a whole hour on slavery and as a mechanism and as a business model, it was repressive and disgusting and horrible. And I think bad capitalism is where I benefit and you benefit more. I'm sorry, good capitalism is where I benefit and you benefit more. Bad capitalism is where I benefit and you pay a price for it. And this was the worst example of bad capitalism, slavery, but it built this country. Black slaves were worth more than anybody else in 1840. The wealthiest city in the world, Will, in 1840 was Natchez, Mississippi. Okay, wow. I'm gonna get off that. I can stay on that forever. By the way, the word white was a made-up word. Racial word white. Well, I'm about to pick a fight with all these folks who think they're historians, but they're wrong. The racial word white, the world is 5 billion years old, 4 billion years of organism life, 200 million years of human life, but those are Neanderthals, 200,000 years of modern life with the people that we would recognize and look and feel and so. And then, of course, recorded history. We know 3,000 years before Christ and all that kind of stuff. You hear all those stories. And of course, Christ and he, God blew conscious in us and all that kind of stuff, recent history. But the word white came in the 1600s. You had black royalty. You had black people who were in power hundreds of years ago. But it was convenient in 1600s in America to racialize this word for the reasons that I just mentioned to you. Now let's go to your question and answer it directly. Why this is a ridiculous situation. Yeah. I've already talked about the comb and the brush and all that stuff. People watching this or listening to this are engaging in capitalism. The government didn't buy your phone. The government didn't buy your car radio.
Yeah.
All right. So I did a podcast on this, the 6 levels of a capitalist. The first level, you are a human and you are using your human capital, exchange that for compensation so you can live.
Yeah.
That's a gig worker. That is an unstructured worker at the bottom of the pyramid. They're paying you by the hours or by the gig, and you want a bunch of freedoms or you don't want anybody tell you what to do. So you broke as heck, but you get to come and go as you please. Then you got the next level, which is a worker, and you work from 9 to 5 or whatever your shift is. And AI is about to upset your life, by the way, artificial intelligence. That's another thing all by itself.
Yeah.
I'm co-chairing the AI Ethics Council with Sam Altman. That's a whole nother thing. That's going to change everything by 2030. But you're working from 9 to 5 at a job that will go away. And you're being paid, a decent wage, whatever the law allows. And you get to go. You get to leave at 5 o'clock. It's not your problem. Okay. Now the next level is you're a salaried worker. And you get more compensation because the boss can call you at 8 o'clock at night every now and then. And you can't say it's overtime because you're on a salary. Now they can't abuse you, but basically whenever the job needs you is when you show up. And they pay you, let's say low 6 figures for that salary job. So it's more risk, less freedom, more reward. Now you're a C-suite executive. You're a chief financial officer, executive vice president. You're a baller in some corporation. Now you're getting 6 figures, mid 6 figures, maybe high 6 figures, maybe 7 figures. But that boss can call you any dang on time he or she likes 24/7. And it's not your business and it's not your problem, but you have to be responsive because you are all in. You got a lot less freedom, a lot more compensation, but you still don't have the risk of an owner. The next level is a business owner. Now this is your deal. Now you own it. If it goes down, it's your deal. But if it wins, it's your deal. Well, you get more compensation, much more risk, and you basically work whenever you have to. Now, the great thing about a business is different from an entrepreneur. There's an established plan. There's a barbershop or a nail salon or you want to be a technician or whatever it is. There's a business that came before that. You can model it. Mm-hmm. The craziest form of capitalist is me. I'm an entrepreneur, creating something out of whole cloth. Didn't exist before.
Yeah.
If you win big. But if you lose everything. And an entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. Now, I just explained capitalism to everybody listening to this because everybody is in one of those categories. Then somebody's going to say, well, I just want to work for the government. Where do you think the government get their money from? I mean, we can go into this all day, all night. 88% of all jobs are private sector jobs. The government is only 12% of all jobs. And they get their money from you and me paying taxes businesses. And then say, oh, I want to be a socialist. What are you talking about? All that is a taxing structure. You go to Norway or Sweden or whatever, they're capitalists. They just are taxed at 60 or 70% of every dollar they make. So you don't have anybody who's broke. There's a safety net, but you don't see anybody who look like you and me also running these companies. Wow. So there's a safety net, fine, but you cannot aim at the highest ring. And those are small economies. And then you say, well, what about China? China's capitalist. What about Russia? They say they're communists. They're capitalists. So communism doesn't work. Socialism doesn't work. And capitalism is a horrible system except for every other system. Knock it off. We are living in a free enterprise democracy. Get with it. What we really need, and this is going to really anger your viewers, what we really need is a Black Jewish business plan. I'm going to drop the mic on that one.
I love it. Where can we get the book?
Read the book.
Amazon. Where can we, it's on Amazon everywhere. Barnes and
It's
Noble.
everywhere. Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, black bookstores. We made sure that there are black bookstores that is number one in several categories: economics, business. And I don't know. There's been many times that a black man was number one in economics and business. And this has been since April 1 through today. It's still number one on Amazon. And best I can tell, we are buying it, which is really quite inspiring. We want to know how stuff works. Like, we want to figure this stuff out. This is a civil rights movement, and this is the third Reconstruction. And it started with George Floyd's murder, and it'll go to 2030. And we have a shot that will not come back. This, in my opinion, this is it. This is after this. Folks are done with us. They're done with trying to accommodate. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be done with us. They shouldn't, but folks are going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
And we've got to get out of this victim mentality. We've got to stop thinking that somebody owes us something. They do, but it doesn't matter. We've got to stop asking for perfection. Whether it's reparations or whatever that stuff is. It ain't happening. No, if you see who's running for president against the current president, do you really think that's a conversation? Like, we have got to become homeowners. The number one way you build wealth is home ownership. 44% of us own a home. The rest of us are renting, trying to impress people we don't know with money we don't have, with places don't want us, with a doorman that don't give a damn about you, buy shit to buy shit we can't afford, and conversations that don't matter.
That's 100%.
Knock it off.
John Hope Bryant, this is such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Love you back.
Love you, man. All right.